just about to go live, just making sure that our lives are working here as we go. You should be seeing me on the interwebs as well, on our pages. So just seeing that pop up, and yes, we are. Awesome. All right, good to see that that's working. I'm just going to make sure I've got my screen here. Welcome to our live training today. So I'm just making sure that I can just see everybody here on my interwebs. Good to see you. A whole bunch of familiar faces. Adam, Susan, Matthew, Brian, Mark, Pete, Christopher Lacey, Cam. Good to have you here, Cam. A few other people joining us. If you're on the Facebook group or the YouTube channel, if you go to agencyboomunleashed.com, you can actually hop into Zoom with me in the actual direct channel, so I can actually talk to you live. I can also coach you while I'm here as well, so that that you get the most out of what we're talking about here today. So great to have you here. A few faces. Let me just make sure that we're all right. So we're in the right pocket here. So welcome. I hope you can hear me very clearly. My microphone is here. Brian, good to see your face. If you just give me a thumbs up that you can actually see and hear me okay, that would be really good. That's all I need in the image. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Right. So I want to kind of keep this very pragmatic, very focused from a point of view, a practical point of view. A lot of people come to me in one of three places, right? You're either just starting out, you like the idea of selling marketing services to businesses around the world, and you're looking at this as an opportunity. So I would say that the group of people that would be in that category, you'd be in the category 1 group. Just so I know from a point of view, and I've got my chats here, if you are joining me here on Zooms, if you're in category 1, you're just kind of starting out, finding your way, putting your feet together, can you just type in 1 so I just know that you're here, because I want to make sure that what I share with you is relevant to you. So if you're in category 1, just heading out the gate, you don't have your first client yet, or you might have a client, but you're just starting out, we've got a few people who are the ones. That's awesome. All right. So category number 2, you're a freelancer. You've got maybe between 2 or 5 customers, maybe a little bit more, maybe 6 customers that you're working with. You are the salesperson. You do all the delivery. You manage the client. You collect the payments. You're the chief everything officer, the CEO of your freelance business. You're a freelancer. Just type in 2. So 2 are my freelancers. The chief everything officer, yes, of your freelancing business. So you've got anywhere between 2 and 5 customers, or maybe a little bit more, but it's kind of just you. Maybe a VA might be helping out, or you're using some sort of contracting service. But essentially, it's you making sure that you're delivering for the client. So if you can identify yourself as a 2, that'd be great, all right? Now, the third category is category 3. Category 3 is you've got a team. You've got maybe 5 or more people in your team. You're working with 10 plus clients, 10 plus clients. You got 5 or so people. You're a 3. You're an agency, right? You're running your business. You've got sales, or you might be the salesperson, but you've got an operations person. You've got customer service. Maybe you've got a couple of VAs, but you're managing 10 plus clients, right? So essentially, you're an agency, right? You're an agency at that level. So I'm just making sure that we make sure we mute everybody. I'm just going to mute everybody, mute all. Okay. So you're an agency in the market. So there are really 3 of us, right? Now, a business owner, and I would be very surprised if we have a business owner here, a business owner who's somebody where the business is working for them. They can take off anytime they like. They can take a month or 2 off work and know when they come back that they're still generating clients, they're still collecting money, and the business has grown from the time that they left till they came back. That is a business owner, right? So at the business owner level, you're probably tracking 2 million plus, 2 to 3 million plus, and you're managing, you're leading. That would be a category 4. But generally, I find that the people that tend to come along are either category 1, just getting going. Category 2, you're a freelancer, you want to make more, you're not charging enough, you need to acquire customers, you need to be able to scale to build a business. You may be frustrated and struggling with the ability to consistently generate clients so you can actually see the water through the weeds or the trees through the weeds of your business. If you're an agency, you might, the scaling idea, right? Scaling meaning hire a team, bring on sales, get growing. So we are in 3 categories, and there are 3 different mindsets in kind of each of these categories. So I want to go through from a mindset point of view of where you need to be able to progress through the scale of your business. And there are also milestones in your business as well, right? There are milestones in your business as well. So essentially in our world, we want to keep our business fairly simple, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, we've got to have an offer. We've got to offer a particular service that we are delivering to the customer. Most people, the biggest challenge they have, and this is a real important distinction and also game changer, right? Number one, if you're really clear about your offer, then it's very easy to go and sell that to the market. And what I find people, even at the agency level, they're still not very clear about what they're offering to the market, right? They may be offering too many things to the market. So some people say, I want to be a full service agency, website, Facebook, AdWords, SEO, copywriting, email marketing, sales funnels, landing pages, full service, right? Full service is fine. There's nothing wrong with being a full service agency. But with a full service agency, there comes restrictions. And those restrictions are time and money, right? Because what happens is being a full service agency is what you're trying to do is you're offering everything to everyone, and you have to custom organize. Every client is a custom job, right? This is a really surefire way to go broke, right? Unless you've got a big team, unless you've built expertise in the areas that you're making offers, it's going to be very difficult for you to scale and grow. You're going to be stuck at the mercy of the client's demands and the customization. That's why I say, if you're very super clear on your offer, the core thing that you are brilliant at, you're better than anybody else in the world at this thing. That's the distinction in your mind, right? You may or may not be, it doesn't matter, right? But you're delivering a service, you know you can deliver the service, and you want a core offer. You want to lead with one offer, right? You don't want to lead with several offers. Oftentimes people say to me, John, but you know, if I ask some questions and then the client will lead me in a way and you know we can solve their marketing problems, right? You do not want to be a generalist. You want to be a specialist. The people who are making the most money in this business, that are people who are building the real businesses in this business, are the ones that specialize. Even to the point where they're specializing as to who they deliver it for. I'll talk about that in just a moment. So number one offer, not 3, not 5, one offer, right? One offer with some options in the offer, right? I'll talk about that a little bit later, right? The second thing that people get stuck on is the who part. Who benefits the most, right? Who can benefit from my offer? Now, when we're starting out, anybody right now, if I was just starting out, you stuck me out on the street, I had nothing, no resources, no money, no cash. And you said, John, go and get a client, right? I know roughly what I would do in terms of the offer that I would make, and I would go and get a customer. I would not be designating a niche. I'd be looking for the problem to solve. That's the first thing I would go to. Because in this game, one of the beautiful pieces of our business here is you're being paid to get better at what you do. Your clients, as you grow and evolve with clients, they're paying you money to improve your experience, your deliverables, your outcomes. You are learning, you're being paid to learn in this business, right? That's the beauty of the marketing business, right? And so we need to get clients to pay us so that we can gain experience and learn and start to formalize our structures and our strategies. At the early stages, when we're just starting out, we've got to go and get 5 clients as quickly as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? As soon as we get 5 clients, we get busy, we're going to get overwhelmed, we're going to break shit, we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to learn really fast. And one or two of those 5 clients are going to stick out with us, right? But we need to get to 5 clients as quickly as possible, because that gives us a level of experience, a level of comfort and discomfort at the same time, right? I'm going to walk you through what that kind of looks like in just a moment through this process. We are here. This series is 4 days. So the next 3 days, same time, same bat channel. Then we have a break for a day on Thursday. Then I come, sorry, break for a day, yes, Thursday. Then I come back on Friday and we have another day. And there are several topics that we're going to be covering over this period. So the offer, really important, one offer, right? If you do SEO, or let's say you do Google My Business, maybe you're an expert in GMB, Google My Business. Just offer Google My Business as the entry point. SEO might be the upsell or the addition, but you lead with one thing, not three things, right? Lead with one thing, solve one problem, right? Solve that problem. The who part, who will benefit the most? Think about your service, who will benefit from the service you provide, right? Then the question that you've got to answer is how you're going to deliver that result. There's only two ways you're going to do this. One, you are the expert. You are the expert and you have to deliver. Now, if you are not the expert and you can't deliver, you have to hire somebody who is an expert and who can deliver. And that is the beauty of this business. This business enables us to get up and running really fast with only fundamental knowledge, right? So we either know what we're doing and we can deliver the result, or we're going to hire somebody else who knows what they're doing and they're going to deliver the result. And it's easy to find those people. There are plenty of white label services for every type of marketing on the planet. There are literally thousands and thousands of very skilled, highly qualified contractors who can run Facebook ads, who can manage Facebook ads, who can build strategy, who can run SEO campaigns, who can onboard clients. There is a myriad of people that you can go to in the market that are the experts. So you need to, number one, have an offer. Number two, solve the problem for a particular customer. And number three, have the ability to deliver that result for the client. If you have one of those pieces missing, you're a dead duck. You're dead in the water. Can't grow the business, right? So that's really the core fundamentals, right? There are 5 functions of your business. And in the early stages, unless you're running at $1 million rate, it's really only the 4 functions that become critical. The 5th function is something you're going to evolve into. But the number 1 function is the ability to generate leads. That's the number 1 function. And when I say the ability to generate leads, you want to generate leads constantly, never ending, never stops. Our industry tends to work on referrals, right? We get a few clients, some of our clients like us, and they refer clients to us. Here's what happens with referrals. The only referrals you're going to get are similar to the clients you work with. And if you don't like the clients, if your clients are lowbrow, low money, they're going to introduce you to lowbrow, low money clients. And this causes a problem, right? Because you're going to be working with shitty clients and that's going to be a shitty business, right? Pardon my French, right? So referrals is the most common way, but that is not a lead generation strategy unless you're asking for referrals, right? So you've got to get opportunities. There are 2 most important metrics: the presentations, the qualifying appointments that you generate, and the presentations that you deliver, right? They're the only things you need. Unless you're doing $1 million run rate, that's where 80% of your energy needs to focus, is generating leads to get an appointment, to qualify that customer, and then if they're qualified, to help that customer buy in your demonstration or your presentation. That's all you need. You don't need anything else, right? But 5 core functions. Number 1 function, the ability to generate leads, really important. Now, there's free traffic or free leads. No leads are really free, but there's leads where you don't have to pay money for them. And then there are leads that you have to pay money for. Unless you're doing about $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue, I would probably not do paid traffic. I would probably start my paid traffic campaign around that 15 to 20 grand mark. I would take $1,500 to $2,500 of my money, and then I would add a traffic source, a paid traffic source to my business, right? Take 5 to 10% of my revenue and put it straight into some form of advertising. Now, when I say advertising, you need to dial it in. You need to know what your acquisition cost is. You need to know what your lead cost is. You need to have a strategy that dials in. The easiest ads to run for agencies are just lead ads, right? Easiest ads are lead ads to run. We've seen them a million times. They lead to a lead magnet, fill in a form, or they can just fill in a form in Facebook, and then you want to follow up the leads. That's a lead ad, right? But there's a cost in that. There's a cost in that. $1,200, $2,000 will probably buy you about probably 5 to 8 appointments. $2,000 will buy you 5 to 8 appointments. right? Not leads, not opt-ins, appointments. $2,000 will roughly get you, unless you dial your campaign, you get it cheaper, you're roughly looking at about 5 to 8 appointments. If your close rate is 1.5, that means you're going to get 1 to 2 clients out of every $2,000 you spend, right? That's where advertising is leverage. But I wouldn't recommend it until you dial in a campaign, right? There are a lot of people out there telling you, hey, if all you need to do is run some Facebook ads and you rock and roll. It doesn't work like that. You can waste a lot of money on the wrong Facebook ads. If you've got the wrong strategy, people are saying, put a VSL together. Well, if you've never put a VSL together and you're going to put a VSL together, you need to know how to put a VSL. By the way, video sales letter, right? Video online, explaining what problem you solve, how you solve the problem, why you're the best, case study testimonials. There's a couple of components that you've got to put in there. So unless you've got those bits and pieces together, that's going to take time. That's why paid traffic isn't fast. It's only fast if you've got a dialed-in campaign. It's not fast if you don't have a dialed-in campaign. If you don't have a dialed-in campaign, it's going to take you 6 to 8 weeks to dial in a campaign, right? So that's money, right? So free. There are plenty of places to get clients. The first place I always look at, and I do this every single month, is talk to our familiar list, friends, family, associates, colleagues, alumni, acquaintances. That's the easiest list. Tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to get clients fast. I'm going to show you 5 tactical things you can do that literally open the door to getting clients immediately, right? That's what I'm going to go through today. But lead generation is key. And you've got to ask your question is, what am I going to do lead-wise, right? The easiest thing to do is teach what you know. That's the #1 offer on the planet, is teach what you know. Show people how it works. Oftentimes, consultants, agencies, the first clients they get is when they sit down with somebody asks them the most dangerous question on the planet, what is it you do? And they get really excited and say, well, I help people, I run Facebook ads, or I manage Facebook ad campaigns, show you how it works, right? We have a strategy, we put an offer together, we get a landing page, and we have a call to action, then we set up the account and manage the account, and we put some little bids in there, run the ads, and on the other side of that, you get leads, right? And they go, that looks awesome. And then you can say, well, maybe I can help you with that, right? Oftentimes, teaching what you know is a very easy way to get clients, right? But the other part of this process from the lead gen point of view is the free leads, things like LinkedIn, a little bit of time, Facebook, very easy. Twitter, very easy. Instagram, very easy. So all the social media platforms are very easy to open the door to conversations and opening the door to generating clients, right? Very easy to do that. Doesn't cost you a lot of money. It's more time. And then what is your strategy? What is the process? So lead gen is a core function, and you want to be generating leads every single day, right? Not every other day, every day, right? You want to have some sort of deal flow, some sort of lead flow. The second core function, which most people miss, and this is where the idea we want to get married too easy, too quick, is you need to nurture, you need to build a relationship with people so that they know, like, and trust you to be able to set an appointment to say, hey, I need your help, right? So the second area that you need to invest your energy in is to nurture leads. This is your marketing, right? Providing indoctrination, sharing, answering questions, letting people know that you have a capability, right, that you're able to deliver. Lead nurture is a very critical part of your business. So lead gen, generating the opportunity, get people to put their hand up. Lead nurture, let's get to know each other a little bit better. This is how I help you. Here's how you get the benefit from us. This is what you need to do, right? The next step in that process from lead nurture, right? Most people don't know what indoctrination is, or don't have indoctrination pieces. Indoctrination pieces is getting to know you, right? How do you look online? How do you look at your, I had somebody ask the other day, can I use my personal Facebook profile, right? And I said, well, if your personal Facebook profile reflects you and your personality and your beliefs and what you stand for, and that's okay to your customers because you're going to attract those sorts of people, then absolutely use your own personal Facebook profile, right? But if it doesn't reflect, if you've got party images and you're bombed out on the beach and you're yahooing and you're flashing your butt and you're doing all that sort of stuff, well, that ain't going to fly with professional people who are high customers, right? That's not going to happen, right? So yes, can you use your Facebook profile? Absolutely. If you are presenting how you are from a point of view where somebody goes, I like this person, right? Then yes, right? But you can create the essence of your profile online. LinkedIn is another thing. There are only 2 things, or actually it's 3 things in LinkedIn, right? The banner picture in LinkedIn, very critical. They give you this massive real estate. Tell people who you are, tell people what you do, who you help, and how you help them, right? This is what we do. This is how we go about doing it. Here's the results we can get. 3 pieces of information on your banner right up top, because it's what people see when they go to LinkedIn, right? Then your keyword, you need to tell people again, right? Who you serve, what you offer, who you serve, what results that you deliver in your keywords, right? And then there's a section. The rest of LinkedIn are not as important, but this summary section is the most important section. Most people treat LinkedIn like a resume, and it shouldn't be. If you're a professional business, that summary section, because it's the area that people will look, right, needs to be all about your client, right? What problems do you solve? How do you help people? What questions are you answering? What is the process of how people work with you? Your phone number should be in the summary. An image should be in the summary. A link to your landing page or website should be in the summary, right? You want to give people the opportunity to reach and connect and engage with you. You want to put a link, say, hey, join my Facebook group over here for professionals, right? It gives people an understanding of who you are. Use your LinkedIn profile. Use your Facebook profile as well. The banner can be an opt-in or an ad for your business, right? Facebook gives you all this free real estate to do that. Yeah. So use your profile. So the lead nurture, the know, like, and trust. There are some key things that you need to put out there. The people need to know that you know what you're talking about. So teach people what you know. Have a piece of content that explains a framework of, these are the problems I solve, and here's my model of how we solve the problem. And this is a desired result or outcome that we achieve by solving the problem. That is a great piece of content. You can do a video on that. You can do an audio on that. You can transcribe that. You can take some Insta images. You can break that up into 15-second Insta posts, but have a piece that explains to people, what problem do you solve? What is your framework to solve that problem? And what are the desired results that you want to solve, right? So problem, framework, result, right? Problem, framework, PFR, problem, framework, result, right? That's a piece that would be very relevant to clients, right? And also, what are the 5 common problems that people have in the market that you solve? What are 5 issues? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what you need to do is you need to say, if this is a problem, so for example, one of them might be, we tend to rely heavily upon referrals, and referrals are dropping, right? By the way, the pandemic has caused drops in referrals, right? So we might say referrals are dropping right now, pandemic, a lot of people, pulling in, social distancing, all that sort of stuff. So what's the alternative to relying on referrals? Well, you need direct access or to go direct to the market. So instead of relying on referrals, one of the systems we have, a process, is to help you get direct access to clients, right? So less reliance on referrals, now taking control of your opportunity, right? What are the other problems? We get tire kickers. So how do we actually turn tire kickers into buyers, right? So on one side, there's a problem. You might be spending money on leads and you're not converting those leads into sales. And maybe it's the quality of the lead. So imagine if you had a process and system to filter the lead, qualify the lead, have better quality appointments. So we go from a problem to an outcome, a desired want, right? So it's almost like the opposite, right? Here's the problem and here's the opposite of the problem. But we need to speak to the issues or the challenges that people have in the market, right? So that's part of that nurture indoctrination structure. The other thing is you want to have a little bit of your personality, your character, right, online as well, so people get to know you. Remember, we're building nurturing, right? So you want to have pieces that are relevant, supportive, encouraging, of value. Generally, I find that a customer, if they're coming to you to ask you questions, they would have interacted with between 3 and 5 pieces of content. 3 and 5 pieces of content. If they've interacted with 3 to 5 pieces of content, they are indoctrinated, right? They've come to you, go, yeah, I need to talk to you. Yes, I saw that video. That was awesome. Yes, thank you. That idea on SEO, that was important. Yes, we want to take advantage of the audit that you offered there. So with lead nurture, every piece of information you put out there, always have a call to action. Join my Facebook group. Hop on my calendar, take advantage of something, take this, get that, right? If you're here and you like this, hey, I've got something for you. What is your give? A checklist, a cheat sheet, a work sheet. That framework I just gave you, right? Problem, framework, solution, right? Result, PFR. That could be an offer you give to people. Hey, simple way to work out your problems. Write down your problems. Then what do you think the framework is to solve the problem? And then what are the results you're looking for? 1, 2, 3. If you want to use the sheet or the strategy, there's the strategy you can use. Demonstrate to people. So always a call to action, right? Have a calendar link, have an automated calendar link. Oftentimes people say, how do I get people to book appointments? It's really easy. You give them a link to book an appointment. In your calendar, if you're using Calendly, Schedule Once, Trade Time, whatever you're using, there should be a capability to ask questions, right? To qualify the lead. So in your lead nurture, you want to ask some relevant questions so that when you have a conversation, you're able to help them, right? Because you know a little bit about them. If you're going to use calendars, automated calendar, I use Calendly, make your questions more multiple choice, right? Don't create barriers where people have to articulate or give you context, right? You know what you do, you know the problem you solve. If they're going to fill in an appointment calendar, just ask some really bullet point questions, let them tick, tick, tick. If you want to ask one question where you might get some information, that's okay, right? So you want to keep it simple in your appointment. So lead gen really critical, lead nurture really critical, because we get to know you, get to like you. Because you solve the problem, you demonstrate to me you can solve the problem, I'm going to engage you, right? I'm going to engage you. Yeah. Matthew says, I think it's very important to convince the prospect of the dire need. They will bleed out without a solution. Yes, you want to, there's a framework when you qualify people to address what are the consequences if you don't take any action, right? So you want to drill in. So problem solution, problem want is a really great framework as well. If this is the problem, what happens if this problem continues? And then what is the outcome of that? What's the impact of that? Then alternatively, we need to fix that problem. So we need to do the opposite of what the problem is. Now, if we do the opposite, what is the ramification or what is the outcome of doing the opposite? What are the possibilities? And what we're going to do is how we bridge the gap is we walk you through to develop or implement the possibility, right? So that's what you're doing in that framework. So thank you for sharing that, Matthew, right? So lead nurture, second core function, right? Third core function, this is the one that everybody struggles with, right? It's sales. It's your ability for sales conversion. SC, sales conversion, is a core fundamental in your business. You need to have the ability to qualify your leads, walk them through a process, and then help them to sign up. That has to be a process. The way most people do that at the moment, and day 4, I'm going to really walk into this in a little bit more detail. The way people do sales right now, and I'm going to ask the audience that are here with me to respond to this. The way they do it right now is they might sit down, they might have done a cold email, you might have an opportunity, you generate an appointment and you say, hey, what I'd like to do is offer you a free strategy session. Right, so people offer a free strategy session, and that strategy session is really not a strategy session. That strategy session turns into a discovery session. So what you do is you do a needs analysis, right? You say, okay, so tell me a little about your business, what you're doing. You ask some questions. Often people don't ask enough questions to get enough details, but they ask some questions and they go, great, I'm going to go away. I'm going to put a proposal together for you. And then I'm going to send you the proposal, or I'm going to make a time with you and deliver the proposal with you, walk you through, answer your questions, and then we can see how we work together. So this is what happens. You do the discovery, right? You might spend an hour asking questions. Again, most people don't ask enough questions, don't get to the core root. You might not qualify the person in that conversation. You're just trying to get, because you've got warm blood in the water, somebody who's interested, breathing on a mirror, fogging it up. That's most people think that's an ideal prospect, right? So you're going to go through that. You go through, put a proposal together. 2 things are going to happen. You might spend 2 or 3 hours putting that proposal together. This is what generally happens. Most people aren't prepared. They don't have a proposal prepared because they're customizing everything. That means if you're customizing everything, you're going to spend hours putting this proposal together, right? 75 to 85% of your proposal should already be pre-written and done for your offer. Should already be ready, done. But anyway, that's beside the point. So we spend that time. 2 things. You're either going to send the proposal to the person and the person gets a proposal, right? And they go, great, let me read through it. You don't know if, you might have seen that they open the email, right? But they've got to read it. Or you're going to make a time to deliver that presentation to the client, right? So one of 2 things. Now, the first scenario, this is what happens. They get an email from you, but they don't read it straight away, right? So time has elapsed, right? We had a conversation in our strategy session, in our discovery call, and time has elapsed. The importance of getting this done and getting this going may be waning. Right now, we don't know if they're the decision maker. They might have to share the proposal you sent to them with somebody else, a boss, a CEO, the head of division, right? Somebody else who's going to help them to see if it's the right thing. And this is what happens to your proposal. They share the email and the person just goes and scrolls to the last page. They go, okay, let's go to the last page. Because on the last page is information that says, how much is this thing going to cost us? And the only frame of reference that the other person has, and the only frame of reference that the person has that you've been talking to, is to go straight to the back page and they go, great, how much is it going to cost? And if they have to share that with somebody, for example, if you were in this situation or I was in this situation, I didn't have a conversation, but somebody comes to me with a proposal of my team and says, what do you think of this, John? I'm going to go, what else could we be spending our money on? Or is there something else that we should be doing? Or, wow, why is this so expensive, right? That's what's going to happen, right? Because you don't have a relationship with the decision maker. So this is part of the sales process, making sure that you have a relationship with the decision maker, not with somebody who's not a decision maker, right? That's a qualifying thing, right? Or if there's a partner involved, you need to know, right, as part of that process. So what happens is it's about the money, right? Or you deliver the presentation, they've got the proposal, you walk them through it, and you walk them through and say, great. So what do you think? You want to go ahead with that, right? And they go, let me think about it, right? And then they ghost you. They don't get back to you. You try, you send a message, you might do a text, you try and call, and they ghost you, right? Because again, it now becomes about the money, not about making sure. It is about what they actually wanted or need in that process. I'd love to know how many people have gotten to a situation where they've emailed the proposal and they've been ghosted, or presented a proposal and they've been ghosted. Just type 1 in the chat if you're here with me. How many people have been ghosted? You've gone through the process, they're all honky-dory, they like you like them, you went through the presentation, you went and did that. How many people, right, have been ghosted? Just type 1 in the chat. Right? Howard's been ghosted. We've got a few people there. Matt's been ghosted. Steve, Brian, a whole bunch of people have been ghosted, right? Okay. Now, the reason why you've been ghosted is not because they don't like you, right? It's not because they don't like you. Most people don't want to say no, right? Mark's got like 5 1s across the thing. Most people just don't want to let you down, right? They feel like by saying no, you haven't answered all their questions, they aren't giving you the opportunity to ask the questions you need to ask, and they say no. So your sales process is broken, right? This is what most people do. And most people don't even ask for the sale. They'll go through a presentation, put the money in, they go, and they stop right there, right? They don't even ask for the sale, right, as part of that. What if you actually offered a free strategy session, actually did a strategy session to help the customer, not try to sell them like everyone else does with their free strategy session? Well, yes, you can do a free strategy. The purpose of the free strategy session is that is your give. But from the strategy session, Joey, is what happens next? How do we go from the free strategy session to asking us to solve their problem? Right? That's what a strategy is about. Strategy is about devising. Let's get very clear about our objective. Let's get clear about why this objective is really important to you. Let's get very clear about the bottleneck of what's not happening to make that objective happen. Let me demonstrate to you how we can deliver and devise and bridge the gap from where you are to hit that objective. And then let me walk you through how we work together. That is a strategy session, right? It's still a sales process. You still have to sell it, right? You still have to help that person. Otherwise, you can do the strategies and then taking your time for that. This is awesome, John. Love the information. Thank you very much. That's great. And nothing happens. You're out, right? You have to have a process. What most people do is they work the process front to back, right? They go, okay, we set an appointment first. Then from the appointment, we have a qualifying call. From the qualifying call, we send an email. From the email, so they follow through the process. The way you want to align or set up a sales process is go back to front. Right? What happens once you have received money in your bank account? That's where you start. Well, actually, where you start is you onboard the client. You've onboarded a new customer. Before that, you got some money in the bank account. Before that, an agreement was signed. Before that, you answered some questions or you provided an email. Before that, you did a presentation, right? Before that, you did a discovery call or you did discovery. Before that, you did a qualifying call. Before that, you did an email, right? Make sure you confirm the appointment. Before that, you set the appointment. Before that, you had a lead magnet or you had 3 or 4 pieces of information. So your sales process might actually be 12 steps long. But here's the thing. Once you know what that is, you can literally lay that over any customer and go, great, this is the process we go through to help you, on board. This is our process, right? That's what you want to do. You want to have your process outlined. You want to have, we have a scale plan process. We do this in our Consulting Champions. We have a scale plan process. And what we do is we sit down and say, great, here's the methodology. Here's how we help you. Now, at the end of that, this is how we're going to work together, right? So let's get very clear about our objective. Let's get very clear about why that's important. Let's get very clear about our outcome, and let's give you the options to get this thing going, because there's no reason for us to be doing any sales presentations if there's not going to be a buying decision at the end of that. We eliminate, I need to think about it. We eliminate all the money up front. We eliminate the partner. We eliminate timing. We eliminate everything, all the objections right before, because the only thing you want to do at the presentation is to confirm in the mind of your prospect that they need to hire you. That's it. 80% of your sale is done before you even do the presentation. But you've got to map out your sales presentation. That third part is really important. Most people, if you're doing the proposal strategy, here's how you change that up and change the structure of that. The easiest way to change up the proposal strategy is, instead of making the last page an itemized how much it's going to cost, you rip that page off the proposal and you go in the first paragraph and you say, your investment in our Facebook ad campaign and strategy development is $3,000 a month, including $1,500 ad spend, right up front in the first paragraph. Then let me walk you through what you get for your investment, how we help you with that investment. So what happens is they're going to go to the last page and they go, holy crap, where's the money? There's no money. Okay, great. So now we have to read the proposal. Most people don't even read the proposal, you just go straight to the money page. So you might as well be counterintuitive and put the money in the very first paragraph. Hey, thanks for considering us and working with you. Your investment in our campaign or SEO campaign or AdWords campaign is X amount of dollars, right? Now, let me walk you through how we help you achieve the outcomes and the results and get the ROI on that $7,000, $10,000, $20,000. Put the money in the first paragraph. They're going to go to the last page. Oh, it's not there. Now I actually have to read your documentation. I've got to go through that process, right? But your sales process, you need to map it out. If you don't have a mapped out sales process, if you can't put people through, think about the last sale you made and work backwards. When you get a win, you should be able to replicate that win, right? If you've made a sale, it doesn't matter if you made a sale in this business or any other business, think about it. You've made a sale. What happened? What happened at each stage? You went through a process. I'll give you a classic example of where I messed up the sales process. So there was a time that my conversion rate was about 85%, which is pretty good conversion rate. All the qualifying's done, 85% conversion rate. That's pretty good, right? So what was happening was 85%, it was pretty consistent, doing well. And all of a sudden, it went from 85% and it dropped down to 35%, right? I lost 55% of my conversion. And it just happened like overnight, right? And I didn't pay attention to it. I was like 2 weeks in and like, oh, what's going on? We're not, the deals aren't closing. What's happening, right? So then I stopped and then I went through the sales process. And what I did was I was too clever for myself. I tried to speed the sales process up. There was one little piece in the sales process where I would send a particular email for them to go ahead. And the previous email did the job. It was pretty simple, explained. But I thought there was another email, that I had that would go after. I thought, you know what? I'll just put these two emails together. So I saved myself a step, right? What happened was I made it more complicated. They needed to think, because I added some more information, it forced them to have to think about it. What happened was I switched back to the old way, right? Back to the process that worked. And what happened? Boom, 85% conversion rate. You're not going to know this until you map this out. Right, and the easiest way to map it out is map it out when you get a win. If you get a client that says yes and you've sold it, sit down, think about exactly what happened, the conversation, the questions that were asked, what was the emails, how did the person come to you, work through that, because then once you know, you can replicate. But sales conversion is a critical function of your business, and if you cannot do it, if you can't do it, you need to hire somebody else. But right now, as a business owner, most small agencies, the owner of the business is the salesperson, right? The owner of the business is a salesperson. So you want to get good. And sales comes with a lot of negative connotations, and it shouldn't, because all you're doing is you're helping people out. The whole purpose of you being here is to help people. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to help people get a result, to help solve their problems. That is the purpose of your business, right? The goal of your business is to make as much money as possible from delivering awesome value, right? Delivering awesome value. That's the goal, right? The purpose, serve. Selling is serving. You're helping people. That's the process. That's a conversation. It's a communication or a conversation with a purpose. That purpose is to help them understand that you are there to help and support them. Sales is not a difficult thing, right? So if you have a framework, something that I will share with you on day 4 on Friday this week, where I'll walk you through a simple framework. But third core function, you've got to have a sales process. If you don't have a sales process, it's going to hurt you. Map it out. You know, get a pad, right? Get a legal pad. Sit in front of you, right? And then go through and mark it out, right? Okay, so that's the second. That's the third thing. The fourth thing is delivery. The fourth core function of your business is to be able to deliver. And there's only 2 results that you must deliver. There's only 2, only one of these 2. Anything other than these 2 results, you'll lose your customer. You can only deliver a great result or an outstanding result. Those are the 2 results that you must deliver. You must deliver a great result or an outstanding result. If you deliver an average result, you're a dead duck. If you're average, if you're below average, if you screw it up, they will leave. And here's the thing. I need you to hear this. All clients leave. All clients will leave you in this business, right? All clients. They may not leave you all at the same time, or sometimes that does happen, but all clients leave. So delivery is, you need to make sure systems, process, deliver the result. You need to improve. You know, if you're running Facebook ads the way you were a year ago, you will fail your clients, right? If you're running Facebook ads today, the way you ran Facebook ads a year ago, you will be giving your clients an average result, because Facebook made 460 changes last year to their platform. So if you didn't adapt to some of those algorithmic changes, some of you might know what I'm talking about, where accounts have been shut down randomly and all that sort of stuff that's going on, right? So you constantly need to be improving your capability to deliver great or outstanding results, right? That's the only 2 choices you have in business. So delivery is about process, understanding how you onboard the client, how you indoctrinate the client, and you want to keep the client for as long as possible, right? So part of your delivery is customer experience. And this is where in agencies, we massively screw this up. This is why the average client, so if you're getting into this industry, right, and I don't care who you are, but I've said this figure many times, and I've talked to people who build really big agencies, and they will attest to these figures, right? The average client will stay with you for 30 days to 90 days. The average client lasts for 1 month to 3 months in this industry. And that's because every arsehole in this industry sets it up that way. Every person screws it up with a client because they set it up that way. Give me a trial for 3 months and I'll show you what we can do. At the end of 3 months, you can leave, right? We're telling our customers they can leave at the end of 30 days. They can leave in 2 weeks. They can leave at 90 days. If you're telling people they can leave, they're going to leave, right? I'll give you a perfect example of this, right? That's a psychological thing, right? We do not do month by month. We do not do 3 months. Minimum, we're selling 1 year to 3 years. We're having people pay us upfront 3 years in advance for Facebook management services, $180,000 cash upfront for 3 years, right? Because we're not selling month by month. We're selling a business development program. We are not selling Facebook ads. Facebook ads is a function, but it's not what we're selling. We're selling a result, and the result is something that we're working on to improve for a time. There is a strategy, there's an outcome. So when we sign up a client, the client is signing up for a minimum of 12 months, right? Now, if I'm with a client for 12 months, right, it's highly unlikely because that relationship and indoctrination, right, goes on. So your first 100 days in the delivery part are critical. The first 100 days of what you do to indoctrinate a client, to create an emotional experience between you and the client, that means you can screw up at least 12 times and they won't leave you. But if you don't indoctrinate, if you don't build that experience, that relationship with the client in that 3 month, in that 100-day period, they will leave you. right? All clients leave. All clients leave, right? So you need to manage expectations. You need to make sure you have systems and processes. If you're using an outsourcer or using a contractor, they have systems and processes to deliver the outcome for your client. If you don't have them right now, you can buy them, right? But delivery is key. And the number one part of delivery is indoctrination and client experience. Customer experience is key. If you look at, so I'll tell you why this is key. And right now it's more key than ever before, right? Because, you know, we're in a pandemic and people are being very pragmatic about their choices and they're constantly assessing their supply chain, right? Constantly, right? Who can do better? Who can, what is our relationship status with our clients, right? So here's the thing. If you look at all the major brands right now, every major brand on the planet is spending hundreds of millions of dollars creating an emotional experience with the brand. Trying to dominate their markets right now with their branding, with their marketing, right? They're trying to get into the minds of their customers. They're creating customer experience, right? Companies invest millions and millions and millions of dollars in their own companies where they hire people, that's their job. Their job is how do we actually create customer experience? How do we indoctrinate? How do we nurture? How do we keep this customer for as long as possible, right? So fourth function, fourth thing you need to do, you need to be really good at delivery, great or outstanding result. You need to indoctrinate, build a customer experience where they want to stay with you, where they're not going to leave. And normally it's about 100 days. So whatever experience and relationship you have, the communication, the support, the acknowledgement, all those sorts of things have to happen in that 100 days. If it doesn't, they will leave you. And that means every 90 days, right, you're going to have to get a new customer to replace the revenue that you just lost. I'm going to share with you a horror story, right, of how this happens. So somebody came to me and said, John, I got a real problem. I said, well, tell me about the problem. He said, listen, October, we were doing $110,000 in monthly recurring revenue in October, right? 110,000, all good. $1.3 million business, right? All good, right? So that's October. November 1, the 1st of November, $10,000 a month. We lost $100,000 worth of revenue in one day, right? Tell me what happened. All the contracts are up. Really? How long is your contract? 30 days, 30 to 90 days, right? Now let's look at how many of the 30 days one left? Most of them. Okay. How many of the 90 days one left? Most of them, right? What relationship do you build with these people? What's the communication? What's the cadence? What's some of the challenges in the communication with the client? Well, they were constantly telling us that our leads suck, right? And if they're constantly telling you that their leads suck, their leads suck. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's true. But in that one moment, he realized his mistake. They didn't build a relationship with their clients. They didn't set the expectations right. And they told their customers they could leave. And so they went from $110,000 in a month in recurring revenue to 10 grand the next month in one day, right? That's insanity. And that's why the recurring model is a little bit shaky, right? Do you think selling SaaS can lower the churn rate? Depends on what SaaS you're selling, Brian, but yes, you can sell SaaS, right? SaaS is automation. Go high level, yeah, that's automation, but you know, you've got to have some touch points. You've got to have some face-to-face time, Zoom time, call time, relationship, yeah? You can automate your relationships to a certain degree, but you do need to have, they've got to have some connection to you ultimately as part of that process, right? Otherwise, it's just, you know, it's not going to work, right? You've got to build that relationship, yeah? So that's the fourth. Delivery is really key. Number 5, as a core fundamental function of your business, if you don't get this right, and this alludes to a little bit of what I was talking about just a moment ago, is you need to retain, you need to resell, and you need to upsell your clients. Retain, resell, upsell. Retain, resell. You have to resell your clients on what they've already bought, right? So that they keep paying you, so they keep buying, right? And you want to upsell, you want to add value. Now, here's a perfect upsell situation, right? One of my friend Mads, who's an SEO expert, with his clients, they would sit there and map out the strategy, and they'd look at the numbers, and they'd go in. He's a little bit of a unique SEO specialist because he actually attributes or shows how they can get tangible results with their SEO. They show the sales figures with their SEO. So he goes to the client and say, hey, you spending $6,000 a month on SEO with us, you made $150,000 out of this $6,000 investment. How are you feeling? The client's like, holy cow, yes, we can track to the strategy all the way through to the sale. That's awesome. So look, we want to do the same thing, but we want to do it in a different category. Can we work in another category, do the same thing, right? And they automatically say yes, because they've had $6,000 return, right? Massive return, rate of return, right? That's like a 300% return. What's that? 60,000 on 6 is 10, 150,000. You know, that's a 200% return, or just a 230% return on investment, right? Do you think the client would spend more money on that type of return? Absolutely. If you're running Facebook ad campaigns and your client spends $3,000 a month with you, and you make them $40,000, right? That's a little bit more than 10x, right? Then you would want to say, hey, how do you feel about that? You know, $40,000. If we keep this going, that's $480,000 for the year, right? What do you think we should maybe add a product category? One of the things that we do with upselling our clients is we add another funnel, right? And we charge them the same amount for the second funnel as we did for the first funnel, right? So $5,000 for the first funnel a month. Hey, you want to double up? We're doing really well over here. We've got another strategy. You want to try another funnel? Yep, right? 70% of our clients have 2 or more funnels, because we offer it to them, right? We upsell them to increase revenue earnings per client, right? If you can increase revenue earnings per client, this creates a compounding effect. If you keep clients on longer, right? If you keep clients on longer and you add clients in, this is going to create a massive compounding effect, right? So for example, let's say this month you get 3 clients that are paying $3,000 a month. That's $9,000 a month, $108,000 a year, right? Next month you get another 3 clients and you keep the first 3 clients. You're now making $216,000 out of 6 clients, right? So $18,000 a month, right? Then third month, you keep those 3 clients again, and you're making $27,000 a month, and you're close to $340,000 in revenue per year. Now you've got 9 clients, as long as those 9 clients stay, right? Month 4, and it just keeps going on. Now what happens is that once you get to 27 clients, you're at $84,000 a month in recurring revenue. That means you're running $1 million business, 27 clients. That's what it takes. If you're selling at $3,000, if you're selling at $5,000, it's 20 clients. If you're selling at $10,000, it's 10 clients, right? If you're selling at $20,000, it's 5 clients. It's not a lot, right? So understand that retain, resell, upsell as a core function of your business is critical for your survival, right? Critical for your survival, right? So because that's where your money is. Your back end is where your profitability is. We, in our agency, one of the agencies that I'm partnered with, we very strongly sell the back end, right? We have our own software that we've developed, and it's all about nurturing, generating referrals, creating multiple offers. It's all back end email marketing, SMS and text, right, to their existing client base. We've seen an extra 20 to 30% extra revenue without any ad spend. Without any ad spend, just by nurturing that relationship, retaining, upselling, cross-selling those services, right? So in your business, how do you do that? How do you keep the client? So instead of offering a 3-month program, offer a 12-month marketing program. Instead of offering a 12-month marketing program, offer a 3-year marketing program, right? The only reason why we offered a 3-year program is we had clients that have been with us for 3 years. Well, if they've been for 3 years, why are we offering a 3-year marketing program? It's crazy, right? So we started offering 3 years, and people started to pay for 3 years. People signed agreements for 3 years, and we had people pay up front for 3 years, right? So that's the other thing that you need to be mindful of, is that you want to make sure you keep your clients for as long as possible. Most people in this world undercharge for what they do. The number one problem that most people have is they undercharge, right? The reason I undercharge is lack of confidence, and also a lack of understanding of what the market will pay. Right? It's a lack of confidence in you. That all this undercharging business has nothing to do with the customer. It has everything to do with your decision, because you're the person that puts the price there, right? I'm going to give you a pricing strategy today. If you use it, you're going to dramatically improve your profitability, right? So in fact, I'm going to give you 2 things that if you do these 2 things, I'll guarantee you're going to more than double your revenue easily if you do these 2 things, right? But your pricing is key, right? There's a whole bunch of strategies around pricing. What most people look at are recurring revenue. The problem with the recurring revenue model, there's nothing wrong with generating recurring revenue, but the challenge with the recurring revenue, as I've mentioned, is clients have got to keep paying. You've got to chase payments. You're in a situation where you have a business that has receivables, right? Some people make the mistake of charging in arrears rather than advance. You want to be paid in advance, not in arrears. You don't want to invoice the client. You don't want to be invoicing the client. If you're invoicing the client, what the client does is they will delay paying the bill. They will never pay your bill on time. So you're always going to be chasing the money. So you always want to bill in advance, not in arrears, right? And the other thing is you want to minimize your receivables, right? So minimizing your receivables means ask for the entire amount up front. That's the trick. Ask for all the money up front, right? Instead of saying $3,000 a month, say $36,000. Would you like to take care of that, right? Amex or Visa, which one would you prefer, right? So don't charge monthly, compress the money up front, right? So they're paying you. So you're collecting all the money and you're minimizing the impact of receivables. That gives you leverage. That gives you choice, right? So that's very important. No invoicing in arrears. That's a killer. You're going to be waiting to be paid, right? Always invoice in advance. Always get paid in advance. So on the day, every month in advance. Then you do the work, you get paid automatically. Set up automated payments. There are services where you don't do credit card automated payments. There are direct debit. One great service is Go Cardless. So what that does is it rips the money straight out of their bank account, not out of their credit card, because oftentimes the credit card gets maxed out, right? So the credit card pings and you got to reping the card, right? So you can actually, there's plenty of services that just do direct debit, right? In our agency, we only do direct debit. We always offer upfront payment in advance, right? Always. And guess what? Clients do that. If you offer it to them, funnily enough, some people are going to take advantage of the offer, and they can't do that unless you offer it. But price is critical here. Price is critical. So what's the psychology of pricing, right? The reason why we undercharge for what we do is we actually there's 2 things. One is confidence. We don't have the confidence. We're kind of just learning. And we thought, hey, if we go cheap, people will buy us, right? But generally, when I find if you go cheap, you'll tend up screwing things up. You don't deliver a premium service and you're screwed because you swallow up all the money in costs, right? And most people don't charge for their time component in that as well, all right? So we don't charge enough. We haven't worked out our margins. We haven't worked out our fractions and our costs, right? So that's a really big, important thing. What is the physical cost? What is the time cost? What is the resource cost? What is the people cost? Are there software costs? One of the first things we do is we want to make sure that you profit in your business. When you work with me, I want to make sure you're making money from day one. So you're in profit. So your margins are correct. 30% cost, 70% GP. And most people I'm finding that their margins are either break even or they're losing money, right? Their profitable hourly rate on average, so here's a classic example. The profitable hourly rate in the internet marketing or the digital advertising marketing space is $9 an hour. That's the profitable rate, right, in our industry, $9 an hour. I can go and work for In-N-Out Burger and get paid $18 an hour and have no responsibilities and no liabilities, right? I can earn double that working for In-N-Out Burger. The average person in this industry is making $9 an hour, less than minimum wage. Terrible, because they haven't looked at their margins. They haven't worked out cost, gross profit. This is what we get to keep, right? Most people, the other way around. The average industry rate, average industry gross profit rate is between 25 and 35%. This is for established digital marketing agencies. This is agency brick and mortar. Their average gross profit is 25 to 35. They need lots. That's why they're making millions, because they need millions and millions of dollars to make any money, right? But their profit margins suck because they're eaten up by a cost ratio. In our world, we can be a little bit more streamlined, right? We can hire more effectively, but we've got to look at our margins. So margins is key, right? The second problem with the money, right, other than the confidence, right, is that we value stack. A lot of internet marketers, and so this is where a lot of people listen to internet marketers. If you're listening to internet marketers, by the way, I got lots of friends who are internet marketers, really nice people, but as far as business advice goes, they suck. They don't know what they're doing they don't know how to run a business. They don't know how to sell an info product, but they couldn't run a business to save their own lives. And yet they're giving advice to people how much you should be charging, right? So you should be charging $1,000 a month, no, right? If you're going to, and what they do is they value stack. They say, well, you're going to do all these things. You're going to do the strategy, you're going to devise the creative, you're going to do the copy, you're going to set up the ad campaign, you're going to manage the campaign, you're going to manage the ad spend, you're going to do the conversion calculations, the reporting. Then we're going to actually maybe throw in a bit of go high level to follow up the automation so that we're managing the leads. Then we might put some call recording, and that'll be $2,000 a month. Thank you very much. Right? Value, value, value. Now, here's the danger. So I worked with an agency, and they're doing okay. They're doing $5 million worth of revenue. And they brought me in to readdress the whole sales process, and they realized that they were losing money. And I thought, well, how do you lose money? Like, you're $5 million business, what's going on? Right? So what are you doing? So I said, great, break down your offer. Show me. Right? So they went, so when you first started, what did it look like? So, well, you just use Facebook ads and a website. Build a website and then do Facebook ads, and that's what we did. Okay, great. And how much did you charge for that? Well, hosting, and we would do a monthly payment. So we incorporated with the Facebook management fee, $1,500, $1,000 a month for the website, $2,500 a month. Great, right? So now what are you charging? Well, our offer is $2,900. Okay, so you've increased the price by $400. What do we get in the value stack? So here's what they do, right? Here's what they did. Website, AdWords campaign, management, strategy, running, Facebook campaign, management, strategy, running, SEO services, email marketing, right? So for an extra $400, you can get a whole new service of SEO. You're going to get an ad management account with Google managed for you. You're going to have all your email marketing and everything managed for you as well. And the price is $2,900. And we've got 5 core components. Now, when I sat down and said, okay, great. So how much would you charge for to manage a Google ad account for one product category? $2,000. Great. $2,000. How much for Facebook? Well, $2,000. Great. There's $4,000. How much for SEO? $1,000 a month. There's $5,000, right? How much for the website? $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year. There's $6,000. You're selling a $6,000, and even at that level, it was still cheap. You're selling $6,000 for $2,900. That's why they're making no money. So margin is really key. That's why one core offer, make sure you got your pricing right, in your strategy. Make sure you got your pricing, because that's where your money is. You need the money, right? You need the money, okay? So there are a couple of milestones in this business. We've got a few different people here. We've got people just starting out, the ones. Your milestone is mindset. It's in your head. You've got to get to $10,000 a month as quickly as possible and prove to yourself that you can build a business that's generating a minimum of $100,000. That is not $100,000 with a personal income. That is $100,000 clean, 120 grand, 10K a month. Right? That's a magic number. If you're making 10K a month, depending on what state you live in, if you're on the East Coast or you're on the West Coast, you're paying half that money to tax. So $50,000 of that's going to go to Uncle Sam if you're in America. If you're in Australia, 36% of that is going to go to the Australian government. If you're in the UK, 40% of that's going to go to the UK government, right? Depending on where you live in the world, what your tax situation is, $100,000, take out whatever tax you have to pay, and then you're left with a gross profit margin. Then you have to take out your costs. Then you're going to be left with what's left. And what generally is left from $100,000 is about $35,000 to $40,000. That's what's left out of $100,000. So you're only making $3,000 a month. Right? If you want to generate 10K a month personal income, you've got to be doing between 180 and 250 in sales. So that's roughly $18,000 to $20,000, $15,000 to $20,000 a month in recurring revenue, gives you clean $10,000 net cash in pocket, puts you in the 5th percentile of the highest earners in the country, in the Western world, right? So you're going to make over $100,000 cash bank net every month. 10K you're going to spend, or you have to spend, right? That's a lifestyle business, right? That's a mindset business. So first mindset, get to 10K. That's mindset. Believe that you can do it. It's 3 clients, 3 customers paying you $3,000 a month, right? It's 3 customers. It's $108,000 a year, right? $100,000, 10K, around that, well, it's $9,000 a month, right? Maybe 3 and a bit, right? But it's not a lot of clients. It doesn't take a lot of clients to do well. Right? You need to double that. You need 6 clients. 6 clients at $3,000 a month is 216,000. You'll be able to keep $120,000 of that for yourself after you pay taxes and costs, right? For yourself. So that's a mindset thing, right? Once you know how to make 100 grand, the second standard or strategy should be sales and marketing. All about 80-20 rule, 80% sales and marketing, 20% delivery. You can always buy delivery. If you're selling, you can always buy delivery, right? That's a mistake people make. Most people do it the other way around. 80-90% delivery, 10% sales and marketing. That's why you're broke, right? That's why people are broke. They're doing it the other way around. They get caught up in delivery because delivery is easy to get caught up in. Sales and marketing is where people struggle. Remember, lead generation, lead nurture, sales conversion. That's where your head needs to be to get you to $1 million. If you can do 100K, you can do $1 million. That's not that hard to do. The $1 million marker, and by the way, it's just a number. I hate people, people think, I've seen people on the interwebs where they're sitting in Ferraris and McLarens and Maseratis that they don't own, that they're rented, or they're sitting in an aeroplane, a private jet, which they don't own, that they've rented, right? And they're telling you, build a lifestyle business, be the 7-figure business owner. Bullshit, right? I know a lot of 7-figure business owners that are broke and they don't own Ferraris and they don't fly in private jets, right? Okay. So $1 million is a milestone. That's all it is, just a number, right? It's a number to go towards. Once you're at $1 million, only 3%, 1, 2, 3, out of every 100 people in the agency world ever make it to $1 million run rate. Only 3%, right? 85% of the people on this call, you will be bankrupt or broke in 3 years. 85% of the people on this call, the people who are watching me here, you're going to be out of business in 3 years. You're not going to be here, right? Because you're not focusing on the right things, right? You're not building a business. You're building a job in that process. Very hard to say. I know it's a harsh truth. I know it's pretty abrasive to hear, but it's true, right? It's true. I've seen it. I've seen so many people get out of this business because they can't make it work because they focus too much on the wrong things, right? The only thing you're focusing on is where I'm at right now, what I want as my objective, what am I doing to get there, right? Who am I speaking to? Who am I helping buy? And I need to add up, right? That's all I need to do. We're playing the numbers game. So the second marker for this business is to get to that, to do sales and marketing, right? So 80% sales and marketing, 20% delivery. And you can always buy delivery. If you're making sales, you'll always be able to buy delivery. You'll always be able to improve because you buy it. You're making money, right? So then we hit a third level. And this is where the business changes again. The third level at the $1 million run rate, or let's say it's 100 grand a month, 1.2 million. The third level in business is then a leadership and scale. Leadership and scale, right? You move away from being a salesperson to being a business owner, a leader. You have to lead a management team. You need a sales team. You need a customer service team. You need an admin team. And you are a leader of leaders because from $1 million, you're going to go get to $5 million. You're going to learn how to get to $5 million. That's the next milestone. Now, at that level, only 1% ever make it to $5 million. 1%. Now, I'm just going to share a little bit of truth here. The difference between a $100,000 agency business and a $1 million agency business is a decision to have one. That's the difference. That's the only difference. You either want to go for the milestone or you don't. If you want to go, you got to work your numbers, right? It's 27 clients at $3 grand a month. It's 20 clients at $5 grand a month. It's 10 clients at 10 grand a month. It's 5 clients at 20 grand a month. You get to choose, right? Or it's 1 client at $1 million at 100 grand a month, right? We've got a few people that do that in the marketplace. Yeah. So understand that that's what that milestone looks like. And the question you want to ask yourself is, how many people do I need to be engaging to actually make one sale, right? How many people do I need to talk to get to one sale? Do I need to speak to 10 people? Do I need to speak to 5 people? Do I need to speak to 3 people? How many? You need to figure that out, right? So when you're going through that process, right, you've got to sit there and go, great, if I need 3 clients and my close rate is 1 in 5, I need to speak to 15 people. That's pretty easy, right? That means in the course of a month, I've got to speak to 1 person every other day, and I'm going to make 3 sales. I'm going to make $9,000 if I sell 3,000 a month, right? By the way, that $3,000 is just an arbitrary figure. Don't quote me on it. Some people charge more, some people charge less. It doesn't matter. But whatever that number is, you need to work the number backwards. It's really simple. That's why 27 clients get you $84,000 at $3,000 a month, right? $84,000 a month is a $1 million run rate in a 12-month period. That's what it works out to be. So the game you're playing is how many people, and by the way, you don't need a lot of people to do that. That's like closing 2 deals a month. If you're closing 2 deals a month for 12 months and you keep those customers, that's why and this is the real figure. The real figure to get to your $1 million run rate is you're going to have to actually engage 35 to 40 clients. 35 to 40 clients that you would have sold to in that period, because 10 to 15 of them are going to leave you, right? 10 to 15 aren't going to hang around for a whole year. So you roughly got to be doing at least 3 to 4 clients a month. And look at the end of the year and you look at your run rate, because there are going to be clients that are going to be leaving. So that's your buffer, right? So that's the number you want to be working with. Now, the next question a lot of people ask me is hiring people. When do you hire? How do you scale? How do you hire? This is a really important thing to do. So I want to give you some milestones. So number 1 milestone, starting out 10K a month, that's the mindset. Get to 10K. Once you get to 10K, you know how to make $1 million, right? You just got to replicate what you did at 10K, build a sales and marketing system. 80% sales and marketing, get you to the $1 million run rate. Get to the $1 million run rate, switch. Sales and marketing is now in charge with somebody else. You are now building the business. You're leading, right, the business. Okay, so that's the mind shift. There are 3 levels of mind shift, right? So let's talk about hiring people. When you're kind of starting out, it's just you. You're either going to be you, or you're going to hire a contractor. If you're doing fulfillment, you're the chief everything officer. Sales, marketing, onboarding, delivering, it's you, right? It's you, right? You want to get to a first hire as quickly as possible. You want to get the first hire, or the best hire, is executive assistant, right? An executive. Now, EA, not VA. VA, not strong enough. An EA is somebody who understands process systems. They're going to take all your work off, all the things that you don't need to be doing as a business owner. They're going to do it for you. They're going to build your processes, your systems. They're going to solve problems for you. You're going to project manage them to project manage you. Your first hire is somebody that can take off all the rubbish work off your shoulders. That's your first hire. And you're going to hire that person for probably 5 to 10 hours a week. Very cheap, right? 5 to 10 hours is enough to start with. Then you're going to eventually work them into a full-time position, right? So, a VA EA between 10 and 30K, and you want, in that 10 to 30K, if it's not you, you want an expert deliverer. So you want to work with a contractor, or you want to work with somebody who knows what they're doing, who can get a result for your client. I would prefer to work with a white label agency because they have a team. Contractors, if you overwhelm a contractor, you need to find redundancy. That means you need to have 2 or 3 contractors. If anything goes wrong, somebody decides to go walkabout, which does happen in our industry, you don't rely on one person, because that one person is going to turn your business upside down. I've seen so many people hire contractors. They've got the one Facebook guy and they get a little bit busy, and all of a sudden the Facebook guy drops the ball or decides to go on vacation and doesn't tell you about it and is gone for 2 weeks. And you're sitting there going, holy crap, there's 5 clients here and I've got to manage the Facebook ad campaigns. I don't know what's going on. So you've got to quickly go and find somebody else. So you want to build in redundancy. I like a friend of mine, James Shremko, calls it the Noah principle. Hire 2 at a time, right? Hire 2 people at a time. Right? In our world, it's very easy to hire people very inexpensively with some skills, right? But that 10 to 30 mark, you want a VA or EA, right? Or an expert deliverer, somebody who can deliver the results so you can go out there and sell, right? At 30 to 60K, what you want to be doing is you want to get an appointment center. You want an appointment center setting appointments for you, right? That you're going to work closely with, so that your calendar is full. Right? You get an appointment setter working for you at 30, 60K mark, fill your calendar up with sales. Remember 80-20 rule, sales? That's what you do, right? You also want to hire a project manager. The project manager now will be a little bit more in line with operations, right? Accounts, making sure that things are okay, right? So those are the 2 hires. So by the 30 to 60K mark, you've got 3 hires, right? 3 people you're responsible to, okay? Now, at the 84K mark, this is where it gets interesting. You may, if your EA is really good, you may turn your EA into an operations manager, right? Or you're going to hire an operations manager. You're going to hire an operations manager, right? You need one to operate, to run the company. Now, your vision, and this is something I haven't spoken about, you need to have a bigger idea of where you're heading and what you're doing, right? Over and above anybody else. Because if your vision is not bigger than the people you hire, your business is dead. They're going to leave you. They're going to go somewhere else, right? They're going to go work for somebody who's inspiring, who wants to build something great, who wants to build a business. Maybe you're building a business, you're not building a job. So when you people, you have to inspire them, right? You have to tell them where you're heading, what you're doing, and what role they play in where you're heading. Because they want to see growth and opportunity. It's not about how much you pay them. Oftentimes the money is not the issue. They want to be excited. They want to be part of something. And as a business owner, that's what you're doing. You're building an opportunity for people to work with you. So you've got to have a greater vision than your operations manager. If your vision is not greater than your operations manager's vision of the company, they will leave. They'll go and find somebody else to work with and put all their brilliance in somebody else's business. So you need to be having a big idea as to what you want to do with this thing. And that's one thing that most people fail in, even at the beginning. At the beginning, it's all about, I need to make some money. That's what happens at the beginning. I'm in business to make some money. Go and walk up to a prospect and say, listen, the reason I'm in business is I need to make some profit. So can you give me some money so I can make some profit, please? See how that works for you, right? So again, we're leading with value, right? We're leading with value. So we're asking people to buy. So we have to help, right? So we've got to have a vision. What do you want to do with this business? If you say, I want to make 100 grand a year, that's a really small vision. You don't need any employees. You need to deliver. You need 3 clients. And you're laughing. There's your okay lifestyle. But you're going to get very tired. Normally, I find people at that 2 to 3 year mark, they earn a certain amount of money and it's not enough. And they feel like, hey, I feel like I'm working. You know, I've got a few people I'm hiring, but not really making any money, right? And I'm in this business because I want to make some money. Yeah, I want to build something. I want to have something that I aspire to that supports me. So the vision has got to be bigger. You've got to have a bigger vision, right? I always look 3, 5, 10 years out. I know what I want to do in 10 years' time. I've got a plan for that, right? And everybody in my company knows that plan. They see it. And they know what piece of the puzzle they play towards that plan. And some of the people who are with me today are not going to be with me in 10 years' time. They're not going to be there. And some may be. There's going to be a whole bunch of other fresh faces that are going to take on that role in my business. You want to start with the end in mind. What does this look like? Right? Is the process. When you think like that, you're going to think a little bit differently. You're going to think about designing your business, or the concept of what we call the business by design, yeah, as part of that process. So hiring is key. You cannot grow, you cannot build a successful business without team. It's physically impossible. You know, I had a company where we had close to 300 employees. So I built a company with 300 employees. It was like I had management, directors, operations, administration, research and development, marketing, sales. We had directors all up the wazoo. We had 15 locations that we were operating out of, right? And it was a nightmare. Eventually I sold out of the business, but it was an absolute nightmare. But wow, this is crazy. I never want to have employees ever again. I just want to keep everything easy, right? Well, I learned the other way that if you haven't got team, if you haven't got support, if you haven't got people working with you, it's going to be really hard to build something of significance, right? You get this choice. So the only way you're going to do well is with hiring other people, scaling, building a team of people as part of your process, right? So you've got to have an idea of what you want this business to be, and you want to work to those ideas, and you want to track that, right? You want to track the number of leads that you generate. You want to track the number of appointments that you book. You want to track the number of presentations that you've done. You want to make sure that you look at the revenue that you collect as part of this business. You want to be tracking that daily, not monthly, not quarterly, not annually, daily. You want to pay attention and focus on the things that are important. And right now, the most important thing, it doesn't matter where you are in business, even for me, who is the next customer? Not who the next 10 customers are or who the next 20 clients are. Who's the next one person? What am I going to do to get to that person as quickly as possible? What do I have to offer? What do I have to engage with? What do I have to connect with to maximize my opportunity to go that next step, right? If you focus on building your business one customer at a time, right, you're going to get to 3, 10, 15, 20. Before you know it, it won't take you long to build that business, right? Are there challenges along the way? Absolutely. Are customers going to piss you off? Absolutely. Are customers going to be awesome? Absolutely. It's business. Life and business are the same. The greatest, the most expensive, and the best personal development program you are ever going to invest in is starting your own business. That is going to be the most expensive and the greatest personal development program you will ever invest in is being an entrepreneur, being in charge of your destiny. That is the greatest investment you can ever make in yourself. It is the greatest experience. Win, lose, or fail, it doesn't matter. I've seen people who've tried to make it work. They've had to go back to jobs and they've come back out again, swinging out a second time or a third time. And the fifth time they've blasted through and they've made it, learned what they need to learn, away they go, right? There are no failures. There's really no failures in business. There aren't. Lessons learned, lessons, not failures, lessons, right? We bring ourselves, if we show up, right, and we have a desire to serve and help, we'll have as many customers as we want. If we do the things we need to do to build that trust, to share with people, to help them along the way, to be there with them as part of what we deliver as a service, whether it be Go High Level, Facebook ads, AdWords, if we get good at helping people get the outcomes they're looking for, to be an integral part of their process, you'll have more business than you can handle. You'll get to a situation where the beautiful situation is having a list of clients waiting for you. I have people that I work with who have lists of clients waiting for them to open up gaps, right, for them. So that's essentially, if we look at the business in a nutshell, if I look at the most successful people that I work with and the ones that I know that I've had time and spent and looked inside their businesses, there's a couple of things that they have a commonality. The number one thing, they have a desire to do amazing things for themselves. They have a desire to create experiences for themselves. They have a desire, they have an incredible desire to add as much value as possible, not just for themselves, but more importantly, the people who they serve, the people who work with them, the family, have this vision and idea of, hey, I want to do something awesome, right? That's number one. To have a bigger belief, a greater belief, and they don't even know what's possible. That's the other cool thing. They don't know this thing, this idea they've got. They don't know if it's actually real. It only becomes real when they have the experience. But it's the learning, the lessons that go along to get that experience that puts them there. That's the thing that they hang on to, right? They're very clear about where they want to go and what they want to do, right? Number two, right? They are constantly investing in themselves. They're investing in training, coaching, mentoring. They're investing in learning the things they need to learn to accelerate their process. Every single person. It doesn't, even my coaches. I have coaches, right? I'm a coach, but I have 3 coaches. I invest multiple 6 figures in coaching every year, right? I would not know or understand or have the experiences and the failures and the things that come for me without those that guidance, without those mentors, right? I've learned a long time ago, you got to pay to play, right? You got to pay to play. You want to be in Warren Buffett's circle, you got to own some Berkshire Hathaway shares at $76,000 per share, right? You have to pay to play, right? You want to hang around with Dan Kennedy, you got to give him $140,000 to write some copy for you. You pay to play. You want to hang around with Jay Abraham, you give him $100,000 to have a 1-hour conversation with him. You pay to play. You invest in yourself. That's the second thing that every person I know that's doing well in this world, and not just in the agency business, but in most businesses, they invest in their learning. They invest in their mentors. They invest in skills. They invest in their minds. They invest in themselves, right? Number 3, they keep it really simple, right? They keep it really simple. They really understand what it is they deliver to the market. They have one core offering. They have one niche market. They have, in fact, they might even have a niche within a niche in that market, right? So they might not just be serving dentists. They don't. They might serve people who just do all-on-4 implants only. That's it. Or just cosmetic dentists, not general dentistry, or implant dentistry, or Invisalign, just cosmetics, right? plastic surgeons, facial reconstruction only. They only work with facial reconstruction plastic surgeons, no one else, no other plastic surgeon, right? So they niche. They have one core offering and they niche into that niche. They know that business or that market intimately. They know who all the players are. They know where they are. They know how to connect with them. They know how to gauge. They're building their authority within that niche. So they have one offer, one niche, right? They know their numbers. They know exactly what is going on in their business at any given time. That's number 3. They know their numbers, right? So number 1, have the vision. Number 2, invest in your learning. Number 3, right? Offer niche, know your market, right? Number 4, know your numbers. They know their numbers. They know when I told you to get 3 clients, you might have to talk to 15 people. They know that. So here's some numbers. Before you hire a salesperson, here are some exact numbers that will give you an idea to hire a successful salesperson. You want 100 leads, and from 100 leads, you want to generate 30 appointment opportunities. From 30 opportunities, you want to qualify 15 of them. And from 15, you want to close between 3 and 5 deals. So you want to have a 3 to 5% close rate on 100 opportunities, right? If you can get to that number, then you can hire a salesperson to scale. Then you just keep hiring salespeople, right? So they know their numbers. They know their numbers, right? And that's a really critical thing. And I think we're up to number 5 in that process. They hire A players. They don't hire D players. Most companies that don't have a vision hire C's and D's. They attract people with no skills. They attract the cardigan wearers, right? The people who are sitting there in the back room looking mindless, they just show up for the paycheck. That's who they attract. But companies who are dynamic, who are exciting, they attract A players. So they know that they have to rely on great people to work with them so that they can build towards their vision, right? They are constantly learning. Now, what I mean by learning is not just reading stuff. Learning means actually implementing and taking action and having the experience, right? They are action takers in their learning. So learning is not a consumption. The biggest mistake that most people make is they consume, right? I know so many people. In fact, there's a person, I'm just trying to make, I think it's TJ DeMarco wrote a book, and he talked about this very thing. He says he knows people. I know people like this. You might know people like this. I was one of these people. Right? I would go to every motivational seminar on the planet. Like, I'd go to the motivational seminars. I'd go and see Anthony Robbins. I'd go and see Jim Rohn back in the day. I would go through that process. This is when I was a little bit younger, a little bit more naive, thinking that if I went to the seminar, that I would be successful. Right? So I go to the seminar. So I would sit there and go, great, I've gone a lot of seminars, and like I'm 2 years down the track and I go, why aren't I successful? Right? I've been to all the, I know what they say. I've read all their books. I've done all this stuff. And why aren't I significantly further on than where I'm at today? Why am I more significantly further on than where I'm at today? And the reason why is because we action fake, right? It's called action faking, not action take. You don't learn anything until you actually implement and get feedback. That's when you learn, right? Even doing nothing is still taking an action. You're making a decision to do nothing, right? With the knowledge that you have, you've made a decision. You're going to get feedback. You get nothing, right? So what most people do is they action fake. What you need to do is action take. And people who do really well take lots of action, try lots of things, break lots of shit up, make lots of mistakes, waste tons of, make the occasional doozy along the way, right? Because they're getting feedback. They're not learning. You don't learn from your failures. You don't learn from your failures, right? Your lessons come through feedback. What worked, what didn't work. Keep what works, eliminate what didn't, make an adjustment, get more feedback, right? That's how the incandescent light bulb was made, right? The old story of Edison's 10,000 experiments to get to that bulb. He didn't. When somebody asked him, "You failed 10,000 times," he says, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I just had 10,000 steps to get to the result, right? I just had 10,000 steps to get the result. I'm improving. How do you think scientists work? Experimentation. How do you think they developed the coronavirus drug at Pfizer and AstraZeneca and all these people? They've been going crazy experimenting and putting their heads together to try and improve until they get some sort of efficacy. So it's the same thing with us. Instead of action faking, we need to be action taking, right? If you learn something, I oftentimes with my coaches, right, I don't even have them here at the moment. I do, yeah. So I have these little, you see these little cards, right? They're little, like little Rolodex cards. So when I sit down with my coaches, right, I'll make a point on the Rolodex card. My goal is to implement whatever is on this card. Whenever I learn something or see something, or I might have read a book or something, I see a thing, I'll go, great, how's that? What's a framework? Okay, I'm going to give that a shot. Who can I give that to? I'm going to try it myself. I want to go and try it as quickly as possible. I want to try it as quickly as possible, right? Because I'm going to get feedback as quickly as possible. That's how I've been very fortunate to have the experiences that I've had in life, is because I'll just go and do it, not think about it, right? So I'm constantly, this is like old school, you know, I have my note taking on my phone. I have an audio app, but I still do this because this can sit in front of my screen in my computer, right? That sits on, like, literally says, great, I've got to get that done, right? And it only goes away, and these cards here were actually in the done pile. There are, I think there's about 12, 13 cards. This is a done pile here, right? So once they're done, they're off my computer and they're away, and next, right? Action taking, not action faking. Action taking, not action faking. There's a fantastic video, a professor at Harvard called Amy Cuddy. It's on TED. If you go to TED, look up Amy Cuddy. It's probably it's one of the top 10 viewed TED Talks, right? She talks about creating presence. And she tells a story, right, where she felt like she was a fraud. She felt like she was faking it till she made it. And why she felt like a fraud was she had a student in her office at Harvard. This was an honor student, full scholarship ride, who felt that they didn't belong at Harvard. They felt that they didn't belong there. They didn't deserve to be at Harvard. Full honors, full scholarship, full ride. They felt they didn't deserve to be there at that school. And in that moment, Amy saw herself, right? Because in her life, she had a pretty tough time. She had a very severe car accident when she was young, and it had a massive impact on her life. And she had to work harder than anybody else to get where she was today. And she also felt that she didn't deserve to be in the position of professorship at Harvard University, a professor who'd earned the right. But one thing she realized in that moment, and she caught herself, and it's the last 5 seconds of that video, she was talking about fake it till you make it. It's not about fake it till you make it. It's about do it and you'll become it. She actually thinks in a moment, she says, no, you do it and you become it, right? Don't fake action. Don't consume. Do. We're in a world of distraction. We're in a world of interruptions and bright and shiny objects. We cannot escape that factor, right? We cannot escape the bright, shiny object syndromes in this world, right? This is where we're at. If you want to build a real business, then start focusing on just getting a client, right? That's what you got to do. The next customer. That's what you got to do. Don't think about anything else. Improve on what you know and get the feedback and ask people. And let me tell you, it's not hard to get clients. It's actually quite easy. I'm going to show you how easy it is in the coming days on how you can get clients. In fact, tomorrow is all about generating clients, right? All about generating clients, yeah? So understand what you pay, what you focus on most becomes a reality. You focus on lack, you focus on things that aren't happening for you, you focus on the disasters, you focus on what's in the news, you focus on all the crazy stuff that's going on around you. If that's where your attention is, you will notice very quickly a reflection of your life, right? But if your focus is on helping people, if your focus is on leading your business, leading you, if your focus is on making sure that you're building the thing that you say that you aspire to build, and that's where your attention is, and that's where your actions are, then you're going to have a great business. You're going to fly. You're going to do what every successful business person does, and that's move forward, right? Are you going to fall on your face? Absolutely. But I know that when I'm falling on my face, I'm kind of still falling forward. I'm still moving forward if I'm falling flat on my face, right? Very easy to get back up and keep going in the world, right? This business is not an easy business. It's not. Anybody that tells you this is an easy business, they're telling you bullshit. they've never run a business if they're telling you the business is easy. They're full of horseshit. It's not easy, right? You know, the Gary V's and all these people that make it look easy, they don't make it look easy. Gary V will never tell you that it's easy. But he's the grinding king, right? Yes. Are you going to have to hustle? Yes, you're going to have to hustle every now and again, right? Even I have to hustle. I've done lots of cool stuff, built lots of great businesses, but still hustling. I'm hustling now, right? I'm here live talking to you because I'm trying to help as many people as possible to realize the opportunity. And the reason why I'm saying 2021 is a boom year for us is because what happened last year opened the door to the floodgates of people going, hey, we need to get our shit together online. We need AdWords people, we need Facebook people, we need automation people, we need sales automation, lead management, copywriters, email marketers, web developers, app developers, SEO people, videographers, we need social media managers. We need those people. You are in desperate high demand, right now. And that's the thing, that we need to start letting people know what they can do and how they can benefit from what you have. So I'd love to know what your biggest takeaways are if you are following me here. If you're on the Facebooks, we've got a few people that have been commenting on the Facebook, so I'm just looking up. Yeah, Aaron, you should be. I've got a few questions here. I want to answer those questions and I want to let you go for the day, right? But what I'd love to know is, what are your takeaways, right? If you want to type in the chat, if you're joining me here in Zoom, if you're on Facebook, there's a Zoom link. If you want to join in Zoom, go to the link in Facebook. We've got a whole bunch of people here: Rod, Matthew, Coffee, a lot of familiar faces, Pete. Any takeaways? Need more of a vision? Yeah, you gotta want more, Howard. Absolutely, right? Take more action now. Absolutely. You know, take the right action. The right actions. That's the key to this process. Yeah. The more you take, the more you're going to generate. Right. I'm happy to 2 or 3 clients at 3K a month. Not a worry about conversion rate. Yeah. Right. Doesn't take long to get there. As well as the numbers. The breakdown of the numbers is really important. Be deliberate about your actions. Absolutely, Mark. You've got to be deliberate. Right. My ego makes me want to close everything. Adam, that's not a bad thing to want to close everything, right? But you know, is it serving you? How are you serving, right? What are you closing on? What is the value of what you're closing on, right? That's the other part of that equation. Okay, so I'm happy to take a question. If you've got a question, strategy, niche market, whatever, I'm happy. If you want to type your question in the chat, I'm more than happy to answer that question. Otherwise, I'm going to see you same time, same channel tomorrow. So anybody got any questions? Feel free to type in the chat. If you want to share, I'm happy to share. What I would do if I just started and I don't have a niche and I want to get a customer? Well, Joey, my first question is, what are you selling? What is the service you're selling first? That's number one, right? You know, you need to have an offer. If you don't have an offer, it's really hard to sell, right? So number one, you've got to have an offer. What are you selling, right? How does what you sell help people? And then the next question is, who do you help? Forget about the niche. Just go and help a person in business first, right? Pete Thompson, do you offer one-on-one coaching to dive into solving specific challenges in someone's business? Pete Thompson, absolutely I do. If you send me an email to don@consultingunleashed.com, I will give you a calendar link to have a quick chat, and I'm more than happy to help you out and answer any questions you have, Pete. Absolutely. So if you just go to john@consultingunleashed.com, send me an email, I'll give you a calendar link. We can hop on, we can have a quick chat, Pete. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. So yes. So Joey, look, number one, what are you offering? Number two, if we were to list down the types of business that would benefit from that, then I would go to, who do I know who runs that type of business, or who do I know who knows someone who runs that type of business? And then I would show people, I would demonstrate how they could benefit from that and make an offer. And that's how social media management, Facebook ads, and sales funnels. So I would pick one of the 3 things, Joey, not all, one of the 3 things, right? So say, if you know how to run a Facebook ad campaign, then go, hey, can I teach you how to run a Facebook ad campaign? Now, at the end of showing them, this is how you get the client, Joey. You might say, look, you can do this yourself, or if you like, I can get my team and we can do this for you. We can set this up for you and have it running. And, because you've been kind enough, I'm more than happy to do you a deal. And then you can do a deal and get your first client. That's one of the easiest ways to get a client. Teach them what you know, then ask the question. You got a 50-50 chance of closing the deal, 50% conversion rate. So the easiest way to say, listen, you can do all this stuff that I just told you, or we do this all day long. Our team can set this up for you. Would you like us to do that? Can I show you how we can do that? And they're going to go, yes, that's awesome, right? So that's one of the easiest ways. I'm going to talk a little about that strategy tomorrow. One of the easiest ways is teach what you know. Find a business owner. Hey, you're running Facebook ads. Have you thought about running Facebook ads? Have you thought about that your customers are on there, right? You're on Facebook, they're on Facebook. What if we could attract and engage them? What if we could draw them into a pipeline? Just walk them through, right? And say, well, imagine what could happen. Let's say if we spent $20 a day or $50 a day, right? In a 30-day period, it's going to be $1,500. Of that $1,500, if we attract, let's say it's going to cost us $30 a lead, right? So what's that? So that's roughly about 40, 50 leads, right? 40, 50, it's actually 60 leads. So 60 leads for $1,500. Out of 60 leads, if you had 60 people, how many people do you think, if we talk to them, like got to speak to them, how many of them do you think we can get to speak to? Well, let's be conservative. Out of 60 people, let's say we get to speak to 20 people. Out of 20 people, how many do you think we could get to buy a product? Well, based on, we're averaging 20% or a 30% conversion rate, we should be able to make 6 or 8 sales, right? Well, 6 to 8 sales multiplied by the average sale, does that equate to more than $1,500, right? They're going to go, hell yeah. So would you put down $1,500 to generate X amount of revenue? Worst case scenario, right? And I go, yeah, all day long, right? It's not hard to help them see how they can invest or buy in your services. So number one thing, Joey, is you want to pick one thing and go, hey, can I show you how this works? And then go, hey, you've got a couple of choices here. You can do this yourself and get the result, or would you like me to show you how we can help you do this for you? Are you interested? Yes or no? They go, yeah, I'm interested. Great, let me show you what that looks like. And now you're putting yourself into a sale. Brian says, if you were to sell go high level, are there any niches you would not recommend? Niches that don't do advertising. Any niche that's not running ads or running leads, I wouldn't choose to do. So Brian, your market is huge. Your market is anybody that's running ads on Facebook or AdWords right now. Anybody. They need to manage their leads in real time. That's the biggest mistake that most people make. And the offer that you go out to say, hey, let me turn all the tie kicker leads and turn into sales. I want to help you turn them into sales. Can I come and talk to you about closing more deals? There's your offer, Brian. Easiest offer on the planet. Hey, I don't want to talk about getting leads. I want to talk about closing deals, dude. Let's turn those tie kickers into sales, in money. Are you interested in having a conversation on how that's possible? Yes or no? And then I'll guarantee you somebody's going to listen to you. And then if you manage the leads, your worst case scenario is a 30% bump on sales. Work out what 30% is for their world. That'll probably give you, for an average business, that's probably between $30,000 and $100,000 a month in extra revenue. That's $360,000 to $1.2 million extra revenue. Ask them, is it worth investing $50,000 to $100,000 to pick up that $360,000 to $1.8 million worth of $2 million worth of revenue? And they would sell yes. Most people, Brian, sell lead management too cheaply. I work with people who sell lead management for $120,000 plus using Go High Level, right? Teaching high level is a main part of my offer. Showing them the concept without the tool isn't like they can do it themselves. Well, no, you can teach people, walk people through the process. You can demo it. You can actually set up a mock demo of a business and put numbers in there and show the charts and go, great. Well, imagine if you could forecast. Imagine if you could look at the close. Imagine if you can drill deep into the action and the communications of every lead. Imagine every single lead is managed. What do you think that's going to do for your business? They're going to fall over their chair. They're going to, that's going to be amazing. How do we do that? Right? So yes, Howard, absolutely teaching people, demonstrating how they can use. The best way to demonstrate is to create a mock-up that reflects a real business. That's the biggest mistake. A lot of people are trying to sell lead management is they're trying to talk the concept through without demonstrating or showing the actual numbers and the results. One of my favorite pieces of software is a software called Geru, G-E-R-U. What Geru allows you to do is to monetize a funnel. So it talks about, you can literally put in cost per lead, cost per acquisition, the amount of money for the budget, and then you can press a number and it'll show you whether or not the campaign is going to fail or it's going to break even. And then you can work out how much you're going to spend to make that campaign work. Well, you can show people how to run a successful Facebook ad campaign that wins on ROI. So the question is, would you buy a campaign that's winning? And the question is going to be yes, right? The question is going to be yes. Would you run a campaign that's winning? The answer is always going to be yes, right? So understand that it's not hard. It's not very difficult to sell that type of stuff. Can you do a specific training on Geru for us? Adam, no. Geru has lots of training on Geru that they run. They've got plenty of fantastic videos on YouTube that show you exactly how it works. So I couldn't run a better training than they could because they own the product. But I love the product because it's a power demonstration. Talking is silver, but showing is gold, right? Talking is silver, showing is gold. So Geru has lots of videos that show you how to map out a process, how to do the calculations. It's a fantastic ROI calculator. And the cool thing is you can actually create a schematic of what a funnel looks like. And so the client sees that and goes, oh man, that's like science, right? That's rocket science. I want that thing. If that thing spits out that result, that's what I want to buy. I'm doing Facebook ads with you and me. Right. So yeah, Geru is, just look it up on YouTube. There's 1,000,001 videos on how to use Geru effectively for demonstration. In fact, I believe in SlideShare on LinkedIn, there is a presentation on how to actually demonstrate Geru from an ROI point of view. And I know Geru themselves also do it as well. Talking to a client to help them convert more sales. I don't want to offer the solution before auditing their sales process. Mark, yes, absolutely. I would always audit a sales process. If I was in the sales management business, I want to find out how they sell, right? Then I want to marry up my process to make sure they maximize conversions. By the way, I would be charging for the audit. I wouldn't be doing it for free. I would be charging for the audit, right? I've done this many times. We'll charge $25,000 to do a full sales process development audit. Right, that's a cheap audit, by the way, 25 grand. We used to do it higher than that at 50 grand. To deliver a proper audit, because it was worth millions of dollars to the company when they got it right, because we used to come in and check out what's going on, what's missing, what's not missing, and make the improvements. Oftentimes, it's one little adjustment, little hinges swing big doors, as my friend Tim Conley would always say. I can hear his voice in my ears right now. So yeah, at the end of the day, we want to help. The company's going to hire a junior sales rep to do the job. Great. So do they have the process? Do they have the systems? Do they have the numbers? Are they expecting the sales rep to go and get leads? If they are, they're going to fail, right? Hiring a sales rep doesn't guarantee success. So in sales, so for example, remember when I talked a little moment ago, what you want to do is you want to hire an appointment setter, not a salesperson. Get the appointment set for you. Then you want to record your calls so you can train your salesperson. And then you want to get your numbers right. So what you should be doing is you should be providing leads and appointments for the salesperson to close. If they don't do that for the salesperson, if they're expecting the salesperson to go get leads, they will fail. Every time they will fail. If you look at companies, you want to, yes, absolutely, you have a sales pod. Lead generator, appointment setter, salesperson. The salesperson's function, they only have two functions: to sell and to follow up a sale. That's it. They don't do anything else in their life. Sell and follow up sale. The appointment setter, they do one thing: sell, set bucket loads of appointments. The lead generator, the lead generation mechanism, does one thing: generates leads for the appointment setter to set appointments from, right? So you have the hierarchy: leads, appointment setter, salesperson. So yes. And same thing in my businesses. We do sales pods. So we have lead generation, then we have appointment setters. We have an appointment setter for every salesperson. One appointment setter for one salesperson. Their goal is to get 30 to 40 appointments per month for the salesperson, right? Because if they're doing 10 appointments a week, they're following up and they're selling and they're converting. Who does the indoctrination? You do automation. Indoctrination is easily done through automation, email. And your customer service person does indoctrination. When you sign up a client and you onboard the client, that is also part of your indoctrination, right? If you're talking about indoctrination into an appointment, then you can automate that. That's content, email, video, lead magnets, those sorts of things. Yeah. G'day, Oscar Ravello. Good to see you, mate, on the Facebooks. So yes. So happy to take another question. Indoctrination is done not by a lead generator or an appointment setter. Indoctrination is generally pieces of information and content that are relevant in your communication and your branding and your messaging that you deliver. You can deliver through automation. Indoctrination could also be a presentation. So that could also be part of your indoctrination. So yeah, sales indoctrination. So any other questions? I'm happy to take one more question. Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to go and have some lunch. I'm going to be here same time, same bat channel tomorrow. So come 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll be here. Tomorrow is all about generating revenue fast, right? I'm going to go through about 7 different strategies. They are all designed to get money quick, cash, right? Money fast. Yeah. So if you're customers and you need revenue, then make sure you show up tomorrow. If you know anybody who should be here, please, if you've got value out of today and you believe other people need to be here, please send them the link to jump on the call. I'd love for those, if you want to introduce somebody here, if you're getting value out of this, if you think this has been really helpful, I'm going to do this for 3 more sessions throughout this week. We have a break coming up on Thursday. But if you know of anybody, just post the agencyboomunleashed.com. Take the copy from the post if you get the Facebook groups, and you know, they can hop on here live with me on the Zooms, or they can follow me on Facebook. But if you want to, I'd be more than, I really appreciate it if you share this with others out there in the world. With that, I hope this has been useful and helpful. And I'll see you tomorrow, because what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to go and generate cash fast. We're actually going to, there's 7 tactical things that I will go through, that if you do these things in the way that I share with you, that you'll put revenue in your bank account. Some of you might even put revenue in your bank account in 20 minutes, right, of doing one of the strategies that I will share. But I only want to talk about really fast tactical things you can do to go and get clients or revenue cash now, right? And the cool thing is anybody can do them. Anybody can do them, right? So I'm going to walk you through how that works. And hopefully some people, whilst they're even on the call, might even make an appointment or generate some revenue in the process. So with that, Brian, Pete, Joey, Cam, Christopher, Mark, Matthew, Rob, Steve, Tanya, Tony, Alex, who else we got here? Brian, where else we've got? We've got quite a few people on the other pages. But thank you all for being here. Always good to see some of those familiar faces and some of those familiar names. But with that, I'll see you same time, same bat channel tomorrow. We're going to talk getting clients really quick, really simple, down and dirty stuff that you can go and get customers with. If you apply, you'll get them. Okay, so with that, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. PST, same time, same bat channel, right here on the Zooms or in the Facebook Lives. Take care, everybody.